Okay, we're going to convene the meeting of the Planning Commission for the City of Pacifica for July 20th, 2015. Giving a minute or two for people to find their seats. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Niblin, Commissioner Cooper,
Present.
Chair Campbell,
Present.
Commissioner Gordon,
Here.
Commissioner Evans,
Present.
Commissioner Vadalas. Here.
All right, we'll have a salute to the flag. I'll lead it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll wait just 1 minute here. All right. Okay, on to administrative business. First, let's approve the order of the agenda. Commissioner Gordon.
I move that we approve the order of agenda. Second the motion.
Thank you. We've got a motion and a second. Let's vote. All right, that passes 5 with 1 abstention. Moving on to approval of the minutes. No, there are none.
No, there's no minutes,
No minutes.
to approve.
Okay. Next, designation of liaison to the City Council meeting of July 27th, 2015, the 7-11 appeal hearing.
Yes, so we do have one appeal coming up next Monday, and as you stated, it's the 7-Eleven at Hickey Boulevard approval.
Okay, I'll take that one. Thank you. And on to oral communications. This portion of the agenda is available to the public to address the Planning Commission on any issue within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission that is not on the agenda. The time allowed for any speaker will be 3 minutes.
You want to preface it with what Tina said about the agenda item?
Oh, yeah, well, we are going to continue an item. Is that?
You can go forward with oral communication.
Let's just go forward with oral communication. We'll talk about that. I have one card up here for Ron Makel for oral communication. If anyone else wants to speak on something that is not on the agenda tonight, please fill out a card. They're located in the back of the room and pass them up. Mr. Makel.
Yes, good evening, Council Chair and, sorry, Planning Commission Chair and Commissioner. I've been up speaking at the council meeting so many times, I get kind of confused. First, I want to thank you guys for moving oral communications to the front of the agenda. I really appreciate that. The last council meeting I went to, I spoke at oral communications, but that wasn't until after 10 o'clock. And I was tired. I know I misspoke some information, but I appreciate it. I actually had that done with the Open Space Committee. They initially had it on the end, and they moved it up front too. So I guess at the end of the day, you're here for the community, and any times you can provide a convenient or a courteous convenience, I appreciate that. So what I'm here for too is, well, I have a question. I noticed up there on the cards for speaking, they're two different styles. Is there any reason why the council is different from the Planning Commission? I mean, well, the color, the size, and also the Planning Commission asks for a phone number. The council card does not. And then the Planning Commission card requests for additional information or assistance from city staff, and the council card doesn't. So they're different. I don't know if you want to be more consistent. I'm just pointing this out, you know. Because when I saw this orange one, I thought maybe it was for something special or something, but any rate, the other thing I want to speak on briefly is took a hike today by the water recycling plant, and I took a few photos of, I want to get you guys to see these, okay? So real quick, if I could.
Sure.
What they are is they're photographs of a railroad car that the Pacifica Historical Society is restoring, and it's parked right on top of the illegal concrete slab that had been constructed for the biodiesel. And I might have spoke about this once before. I thought it was kind of interesting. We have a railroad car that would be moved by steam, sitting on a concrete slab that was built for a recycling plant, oil refinery. It's kind of interesting. And I want to speak about it real quick because that, to me, was an example of a time when we had some stuff going on here where city council and even some city staff, department heads circumvented the protocol. That project did not go before the Open Space Committee, even though it had Hillside Preservation District ordinance zoning. It was in sensitive habitat area for biological reasons and also for historical reasons. And also, it didn't go before the Planning Commission, you know. I just want to point that out. I hope that we do not see that happen again in this town. I consider that project, it cost the city a lot of money, building a 4-foot thick concrete pad, and also they trenched the parking lot to put pipes in that were never used, and then the city put up bond money for that. So I just see that as kind of because of the lack of proper protocol and respect, bringing it before you guys. I just see that as kind of a bad karma project. You know, so I just want to point that. I hope that the city and new planning director makes sure that everybody's treated fairly here. If something's project going on in the coastal development, whether it's the city's construction or a private person, they all should be treated fairly and consistently. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see any other cards for oral communications at the moment, so we're going to move on to we have no consent items, so we're going to move on to a presentation, and it's an introduction of the new Economic Development Manager and presentation of the 2015-2016 Economic Development Work Plan recently approved by the City Council.
Thank you. So I just wanted to introduce Ann Stedler, who's our new Economic Development Manager. And actually, she has a few opening comments, but we're going to ask that the Planning Commission continue her presentation and actually items 1A and 1B, and Ann will have further explanation for that.
Thank you.
Good evening. It's good to be with you. I'm looking forward to bringing the agenda item that was the presentation for tonight back to you at a future date. Let me explain for a minute why I asked if we could move it to a future date. I've learned over the last few days that there were considerable concerns about congestion for both traffic and parking with regard to the item that was on your agenda following my presentation. And it was my concern that there might be a number of people here. This would have been a perfect opportunity for me to meet them, to make sure I got their names, and that we had a chance to talk about their concerns, which of course I could do outside the building. So I had a chance to do a little bit of that a few minutes ago, and with your permission, once I finish my brief remarks here, I'll go downstairs and meet people again. Why am I taking that position? One of the reasons we noticed these items on the Planning Commission was we wanted to extend the public notice that's required, the 300 feet. We wanted to make sure people were aware of what was in a planning process stage. And we wanted to get input that would help us make the event that we were proposing better than we could make it by ourselves. So we're delighted to have feedback, and I want to take the opportunity to understand as much as I can about what's being said that is controversial or that would perhaps be a reason not to hold the event at all. So I'll focus on that at this point. In light of that, I didn't want to take time giving a presentation, which is not time sensitive, and if If you're willing, I'll come back to you at a future date and do the presentation. I'd love to share it with you. And if we're able to solve the problems that the public is raising on the events that we had proposed, we'll be back to you with those as well. So with that, I think I've made myself clear in terms of priorities, and with your indulgence, I'll come back to you another date with the presentation. That's the first item on your agenda.
That's great. Well, thank you for the clarification, and I know we all look forward to working with you in the future. We'll continue. Well, I guess we should make a motion to continue, or someone should make a motion to continue these items, or do we need to do that?
Yes, there would be a motion to continue the items. I would suggest there's two commenters, Greg Cochran and Shirley Chan, who, if they can come back to the future meeting, that would be great. If they cannot and need to make their public comments this evening on the items 1A and 1B, we can certainly take those comments now.
Let's see if I can get an informal read from from Mr. Cochran. Would you want to speak today, or? Okay, and I'm sorry, the second,
Ms. Chan?
Ms. Chan, would you want to speak today? I don't see her anymore. Okay. Well, looks like we'll just have that. Thank you, Mr. Cochran, for your patience on that. Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move the public hearing to a different date.
If there's no other comments, we can take a motion.
Let's have a motion. So you want to make comments? This isn't
I just want to make some comments so she can take those back when she does her presentation. Potentially, she could answer some of those concerns that I would have.
Let's see. Should we do comments? You know, why don't we just stay the comments until everyone can speak? I'm a little worried about everyone moving forward on this without clear direction. But let's definitely make a motion to continue. Let's see, Commissioner Vattelaus.
I move that we continue items 1A and 1B to a future date, not yet noted.
Yes, well, we will renotice.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Evans.
I second that.
All right, we've had a motion and a second. Let's vote. All right, that passes unanimously with one abstention. Well, one absence, I guess. Absence, not abstention. Thank you, Commissioner Gordon. All right, moving on to our public hearing, item number 2. It's a coastal development permit filed by the applicant and owner, Robert Twigg, to construct a 380-square-foot, two-story addition and a second-story deck of 350 square feet to an existing dwelling at 125 West Avalon Drive. The project is located in the appeal area of the coastal zone, and the recommended CEQA status is exempt. And then the proposed action tonight is to approve as conditioned. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Chair Campbell and Commissioners. I'm Catherine Farbstein, Assistant Planner, and I will make the presentation for this project tonight. Before you is a project consisting of an addition of approximately 400 square feet of floor area and 350 square feet of second-story deck area. Floor area addition will expand the ground floor as well as create a new second floor. Approval of a coastal development permit is necessary to allow the addition, which is more than a 10% increase in floor area within the appeal zone, within the area of the appeal area of the coastal zone. Although the owner's intent is to improve the dwelling's design into a modern style with flat roof and stucco siding, portions of the peaked roof and lap siding of a beach cottage will still be visible on the south and east elevations after the project is completed. This may be a design issue that the Commission may want to address. The owner, Robert Twigg, and architect Paul Nye are here tonight to discuss their project and respond to any questions. Staff is recommending approval of the coastal development permit for the addition. That concludes my presentation.
All right, let's see, questions for staff. Commissioner Cooper.
Yeah, I have one question. In the report, it says that the parking required is 2-car garage and the existing is a 1-car. What triggered that, or is that a new requirement?
That's been a requirement for a number of years.
So it's nothing
Guarantee
new
at least
to...
15, but it's been around a while. What happens is, in our non-conforming section, that code section says if someone is increasing the number of bedrooms, then we can go back and look at that through our non-conforming section of the Pacifica Municipal Code. And if they're adding on bedrooms, we look at the garage, we look at the dimensions of the garage. So if they increase the number of bedrooms, we look at to see if the garage meets code. If it doesn't, then we need to figure a way to either bring the garage up to code or make some other accommodation to try to satisfy that two-car garage, 18 by 19 foot size dimension.
Great, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Chair. And just kind of the same idea that Commissioner Cooper had. So I'm guessing that when the house was built, it was approved at the one-car garage point, maybe not having the two-car requirement at that time?
That's correct. I don't have the information in front of me as to when the house was built, but most likely it was built at a time period when only a one-car garage was required. That's
Grandfathered in. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any further questions for staff, so at this point, we could have the applicant come up and speak. You have 10 minutes. Speak in favor of your project if you wish.
Good evening. My name's Robert Twigg, owner of 125 West Avalon Drive in Pacifica. I've lived there about 10 years. When I first moved there, I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but along Esplanade there were when I moved in, there was a cyclone fence that blocked the view of the ocean, kind of almost kitty corner, one house in from that corner from West Avalon and Esplanade. And I always thought that would be a great view. And with the neighborhood, I think it was Pacifica Save Esplanade, a group had gotten together and put together a park along there, and I attended some meetings there. And when I realized when my house was first built, there was no view of the ocean. So I wanted to capitalize on the new view and also improve the exterior of the house.
Okay.
My architect called me earlier about 10 minutes ago, and he said he's running late. So if you have any other questions, they should be here within a few minutes. They're coming from the East Bay and got caught in traffic.
Sure. No.
There they are now.
Excellent.
Perfect
Good timing. Well, if you want to bring them up or I guess if we have questions, we can direct them to your architects?
Yeah, if you have
Okay.
questions, you can have that, but everything sounds pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Let's see. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions at the moment, but don't go far. We may after the public has a chance to comment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wait. We do have one question. Commissioner Gordon.
Just make them walk.
That's right. Hi there.
Hi.
So I just wanted to follow up on something that Catherine had mentioned in the staff report, which was that the proposal, it doesn't modify the siding or roof of the south and east elevations, and perhaps you could explain the design intent and future plans?
Yes, the current siding, and I have brought some pictures, kind of, to me, matches modern design. It's an older type of tile look. And here's some photos I have of the existing house. But it just fits. I mean, if it was all stucco, it would be kind of just a big blank stucco wall. In the front, it's nice because it has different levels and depth and some texture to it. But it's also on the side that's really not seen from the public, so it's And, I mean, it's not that important, I think, for me. I live there, so the exterior is definitely important for me. And I wouldn't proceed if, you know, if it had old wooden siding and stuff with paint over it, I would change it, you know, I'd make it match the current design. But I feel right now it matches pretty good.
All right, Commissioner Cooper.
Have you spoken to your neighbors about this project as far
Yes.
as going up? And what do they have to say?
They are all looking forward to it. They've, I mean, I could have probably invited them over and gotten some positive.
No, it's just, for us, it's very beneficial to you to have talked to your neighbors and make sure that they agree with your, you know, especially going up. I mean, everybody likes the views as well, so.
Yeah, the way this goes up, it doesn't block any of my neighbors' views. It's kind of building up
On the
along
side, yeah.
the existing buildings there. And I have talked to all the neighbors, and like I said, the ones to the left, the right, across the street, both sides are all kind of looking forward to it.
Great.
Okay, I don't see any other questions up here. Again, don't go far, but I also don't see any cards from members of the public who might want to comment on this item. Do any members of the public out there want to comment on this? I am not seeing it. Okay, so I think what I'll do is bring this back to the Commission for deliberation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Oh,
Totally agree.
yeah, actually, those pictures that you're referencing.
I also brought some pictures of what looked like newer construction with different textures. I mean, so it looked like some existed, I don't know, I could bring these up. Here's
You can bring them up.
Please.
Yeah.
Bring them up this way, or?
Yeah, sure. We're just taking a moment to look at these photos.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about it, there's some houses that are in the neighborhood that have different types of siding, and a close-up of the siding.
I take it this one is of your existing siding?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Existing.
Asbestos tile. Brian, you'd like to look at this?
All right.
I had a question for him.
Okay, that has generated a question from Commissioner Gordon.
Sure, question for the applicant. So the siding is there going to be any updating at all to the siding?
Paint, it'll match the,
So it'll be it'll be a paint update. So the color will be the same.
so I'm saying,
So the color on the sides will be the same as the
yeah.
front.
Yeah.
It's just that
it'll
the finish is
correspond with that design, it's.
okay.
All right. Let's see, I think everyone's gotten a chance to look at those new exhibits. I don't see any further questions. Okay, I think we'll just bring it back to the commission here. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And what say you, commissioners? Commissioner Evans?
It's more of a question for staff. In one of the conditions, I understand somewhere here, is prior to giving permits out, he will have to come up with color and design of that, if you want to explain that a little bit?
Yes, that's actually a standard condition number 2, I believe. Prior to issuance of a building permit, applicant shall submit information on exterior finishes, including colors and materials, subject to approval of the planning director. So in this case, with the stucco that's being proposed, plus painting over those existing siding material, lap siding, whatever it is, staff would take a look at the color sample before we signed off on the building permit, make sure it was okay.
Thank you.
It's appropriate, not hot pink or...
Commissioner Gordon.
Thank you, Chair. Another question for Catherine. So, excuse me. So there's a condition of approval regarding the landscaping?
Yes, that's also a standard condition of approval. Let me find that.
Okay.
Number 3, condition of approval number 3. I did want to point that out. Again, the commissioners are used to seeing these conditions of approval, but in this case, the front yard really needs to be landscaped and improved. And I understand that the applicant is waiting to get this project going before he does that, but I wanted to make sure to draw everyone's attention to that landscaped, that yard will be landscaped and will look much better.
Thank you.
All right, great. Commissioner Cooper.
I'm ready to make a motion if everybody else is.
Okay. Please do.
I move the Planning Commission find the project is exempt from CEQA approved coastal development permit CDP 351-15 by adopting the attached resolution for the proposed remodel in addition to a single-family dwelling at 125 West Avalon Drive, including conditions of approval in Exhibit A, and incorporate all maps and testimony into the record by reference.
Commissioner Evans.
I'll second that motion.
We've had a motion and a second. Please vote. And that project passes unanimously with one absence. Congratulations, you have an approved project. Let's see. Anyone aggrieved by the action of the Planning Commission has 10 calendar days to appeal the decision in writing to the City Council. All right, moving on to communications. Commission communications. All right, I have one. Actually, more of a question for staff. What's the status of the Dave and Lou's gas station on Highway 1? What's the status of that? Are we going to see anything soon?
So we know that 7-Eleven's interested in that site and maybe working on their plans, but they haven't formally submitted yet. But they will be required to come before the Planning Commission.
Okay. Second question, the signage or, I guess, getting ahead of myself, whatever is going to replace the old Fresh and Easy at the Pedro Point Shopping Center, what's the status of that? Anything?
Do you have anything to add? They haven't submitted their signage package to us yet.
Okay.
So I know that was something that you were interested in, but we haven't seen that either from that applicant.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioner Cooper.
I had one question. I was driving by the 7-Eleven down here, and it seems, some gentleman took a bunch of pictures in regards to all that extra signage that was out there. And I drove by the other day, and they've gotten rid of their red box, and they got rid of all their signage, and it looks much nicer. Did the city go out and check that space, or how did that go about?
Yes, so there was code enforcement complaints made, and so we did follow up on those on that site, and I believe the other site up on Manor.
Perfect. Yeah, it looked much nicer.
Okay. I don't see any other commission communications. Staff communications.
I just wanted to let you guys know that the next regularly scheduled meeting, I won't be here because I'll be attending a conference on priority-based budgeting, which the city will be starting up for the next year for the, what would that be, the 16-17 fiscal year budget. But you will have a meeting, and Catherine will be here.
All right.
And what's the date of the next meeting?
Next meeting is August 3rd.
Okay, looking forward to it. I think that is it. I think all we need now is a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Gordon,
So moved.
Commissioner Votelaus.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Please vote. Unanimous passage with one absence. Thank you. Good night.
That was a thrilling meeting.